Victor says, hello all. Bravia Core is an excellent streaming option for Sony movies. Yeah, I just did a quick video about it.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. Actually, Joe brought it up. When is streaming going to catch up to 4K disc? And like, it's not across the board, but it's here. Sony's done it. I think it could, like I said in my video, it could usher in, it could, get Netflix to, but it's, to do like a higher streaming. And then I even made the joke that everybody would do it except for Disney.
Yeah, I like that. That's probably true though.
I know, right? Yeah, maybe not Disney.
You're going to watch this cartoon in a higher, you don't care.
Bitrate, yeah, what?
Come on, you don't care.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not even you watching. It's your kids are watching it probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I think eventually everybody will have to go that route. And the conversation came up because we were talking about Kaleidoscape, right?
Yeah.
And I was saying it's only a matter of time before streaming can provide, very high quality, whether it's through more efficient codecs, higher compression, which requires more CPU power or GPU power. Anywhere, some kind of hardware acceleration in order to decode some of these formats, some of these codecs. But that is getting better. That's getting cheaper, right? I don't know that bandwidth is necessarily getting cheaper. So I think that the play for most people, my opinion, I think all these companies already have it ready. I think they have their catalogs in that format ready to go. They're just waiting for somebody to start, basically, like, once somebody else does it and they have to do it, then they'll do it. But they're not going to do it unless they have to do it. What they'd prefer to do is save money on the back end. This is all just, I'm speculating.
Spitballing.
But I'm thinking that they'd rather just save the money, right? So if they're able to provide the content as is, same quality as you get right now, but save on bandwidth and make more money, they're going to do that for as long as possible, right? As long as nobody's complaining, they're happy. But then
it's like us getting 12-bit TV panels. I don't know if that's going to happen, right? And that's like the spec for Dolby Vision is, it's supposed to be a 12-bit, dynamic HDR format. So, but it's much more expensive for them to create a 12-bit TV panel than it is to go up in 8K, up in resolution size, 8K, 16K, 32K, 128K. We might see that before a 12-bit panel because it just costs more. So yeah, this guy, I think that you're exactly right there. I think once it gets mainstream, and Sony's had this before. This is the Bravia Core, the Sony Bravia Core, which is only for Sony TVs. And now when they put it to the PlayStation, that just opens up more people to experience it. It is a little lame. Some of these movies, the free movies,
you're going through them, some of them are
some of them are just garbage.
I've never even seen that movie.
I'm like, what is this thing? Yeah, and even one of the newer ones. There's the picture of the two guys. I put it in the video. He's jumping around. I'm like, what movie is this? It's just
I get you. But when that was on Sony TV, because I've seen it on the Sony TV, and I'm like, who'd want to use that thing? It's kind of like there's so many streaming services. Why would I choose that?
And what's funny is that like they've had that for a few years, right? And it's not really that big of a deal because if I don't have a Sony TV, I don't have it. Whatever, right? And Sony TVs aren't cheap. Sony A95L just won the king of TVs, and I want to get one for the bedroom. But man, $3,500, even with people hooking me up, it's still expensive. It's still expensive, and I'm like, I'd rather buy a new computer.
So here's the thing. So once they put it on PlayStation, that makes it that's a bigger deal.
Accessible.
Yeah, you can have a different TV, you can have the PlayStation, and then still have access to it. Now the question is, if you're Sony, why wouldn't you just make it available on all the platforms? Like, they're also a company that they make movies.
Yeah, totally.
Their studio, so that's a money maker.
Well, see,
why wouldn't they make that available?
You know what my theory is? It's Sony. They own the rights to everything, so they're just going to remove their movies from every other platform and just put it on there. I mean,
why isn't
why
that
not? Right?
Yeah, that
Why
might
not?
be the
It's a free thing. I don't have to pay. It's like Vudu. You just download the app and then you pay whatever the movie costs, right? See, I hope Vudu does this as well. Seems like they are pushing the UHD envelope early on. They definitely were. Excuse me. My first TV reviews, I remember just looking at the onboard apps, and Vudu has always had Atmos and 4K HDR.
For real though,
like for a long time.
Yeah.
So I would think, I think out of all the streaming platforms, I would think if anyone were to do this to follow in Sony's footsteps, I'd say it's Netflix and Vudu. First and foremost.
Netflix and Vudu. Yeah, Netflix is kind of on the, they're always trying to push stuff a little bit.
Yeah. Like what's his name? Jeremy always says that they've got Netflix Studios got 916 Atmos mixing rooms so that their content is straight up, full Atmos.
Yeah, I've talked to the guy who's in charge of that division for audio for Netflix, and he's into this stuff. Like that guy, he's into home theater, so he wants that. But he's explained before in a different podcast that most people listen through TV speakers, like not even sound bars.
Yep.
Right? TV speakers. So he's pushing for it though. He would like to see everybody have a better experience. But back to the Sony thing for a second. You sent this article from the CE Critic. So what is the spec on this? Like how good of a bit rate can they get with this?
They're saying, it's actually conflicting. They're saying 80 megabits per second, which is what the Super Stream Sony Stream thing is doing. Right. 80 megabits per second is what they're like touting in some articles, and some articles don't even mention that. So that one doesn't mention it. Another one I read mentioned it. And some of them say, like the Sony one says the minimum requirement is that you have 9 megabits per second transfer.
That's a pretty big difference, though.
I know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I would imagine there are a lot of factors at play. If it actually hits 80, maybe it, you got to have like the right conditions. You got to have the good internet. And if you're doing cable modem like I am, you got no neighbors using it at the time or whatever. So yeah, it's one of those things we don't actually know. Like I don't have a way to test that.
So what I thought was interesting also, I'm trying to pull up the video that so here we go. Let's see if we can find the part. There it is. There's Buff Chana right there. You see?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Jacked. Look at those shoulders. But where's the one where you're kind of going through the?
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, there.
Like this looks pretty kaleidoscopy. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that
I
really
like
about
100%.
Like it has a cool interface, right?
The user interface. Look at this. What was the Brothers Grimsby? What is that nonsense? Like, get that out of here. Yeah, they look like they're dancing or some shit.
Look at that.
No. The interface is great. The interface is great. Everything looks sharp. It's what you would want in any kind of like streaming app, right? So no Dolby Vision, of course. Yeah. But that's a limitation of the PlayStation because the Xbox is better. Trigger warning. Oh, we should make a banner. Trigger warning that flashes.
Oh, yeah.
Here, my shot's fired. I need to change that 50 cal bullet out because it's too loud. Oh, the Brothers Grimsby is disgustingly hilarious, is it? Oh man, it just looks stupid from that picture.
Maybe it's one of those movies though. Maybe it's the ones like it's so stupid where you're just like, oh my, like you have to go in with the right expectation.
Okay. Just you know what was funny? I had this whole joke lined up because the other YouTube videos about this Sony Pictures Core were all from gaming channels. And some of these guys are just like, yeah, dude, I don't watch movies. I don't even need this. I'm too good for this, right? But what there was going through the free movies, and I see Paul Blart Mall Cop. I'm like, oh yes, I was gonna make this huge joke about look, I can stream Paul Blart to my heart's content for free. But, they removed it.
Good quality, right?
They removed it. Yeah, you know, we want to see all that fat jiggle. Woo! Yeah. If you like Ace Ventura type dumb humor, it's worth it. Okay, all right. I'll have to check it out.
All right, if you would like to join us every week on Mondays at what time is it? About 6 p.m. Central, which is the best time. That's where I am. Make sure you join us at youtube.com/Daily Hi-Fi. We out.